Although you already have this printed out, I'm going to talk you through how to type in your data to Excel, then process that data, and later make a graph. This will help you during your IA when you have all of the data that you've collected. So the first thing you have to do is open up Excel. If you don't know how to get here, you go down to the Window button, and it should be here in your Application tab. If not, you have to scroll down to where it says Excel. So once you're there, you're in a new notebook that looks like this. The first thing you're going to want to do is make your data tables. You could copy and paste from Word, but I'm going to quickly type them up. If you're doing a two-category type lab, you're going to type the name of your first condition here. Now, I am just typing condition 1, but this might be open eyes, and later you'll have closed eyes. Or it could be right leg, left leg, 90 degrees versus 45 degrees. Whatever it is, give your headings and give yourself some space. You always know that the first category, or first column, is going to be participants. You don't want it to have names. You always want it to be anonymous. So here I'm going to show you a couple cute tricks that will help your life. If you type 1, 2, 3, instead of having to type all of it, you can highlight this, and there's a little square on the bottom. You see when my cursor hovers over the square, what that does is it has Excel drag down the pattern it has identified. And because it's a 1, 2, 3, it figures that I'm counting to 10. So I can number all the way to 10. Maybe you could have typed to 10 in that time. That's okay too. So the next thing that I want to do in cell B2 is type my first trials. You might notice that the participant in column 1 is kind of in the way. That's not a problem. I could just start typing trial 1, and you're going to see that the participant stays in its own column. If that bothers you, you can always click out and then double click in between the letters, and it's going to make it wider. You could also just click and drag and make it as wide as you like. But I like it the width there. So I'm going to come back here to trial 1. We can't forget to add units, so let's pretend my first condition is, let's pretend I'm studying reaction time, and this is going to be audible, so using sound. So that means that I am measuring in the unit of milliseconds. So you can see up here is where I can type, and it updates it down here. Again, I'm going to do the double click in between B and C so that I can make my column wider. I'm going to keep going, trial 2 with my units in parentheses, and trial 3 with my units in parentheses. I'm going to make the columns wide enough. And at this point, I have the basis of my chart. I am going to highlight all the columns. Oh, wait, I'm going to add an average. I'm going to add an average column with my units. So now I'm going to highlight all of them. You might notice that the first box is still white and it's not gray. That's fine. That tells you where you've started. It is still highlighted, and you know that because it's in this dark green box. So you don't have to panic. Wherever you start will always stay white to tell you where you started, but you're never going to get it to go gray. So I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to come up here and add some lines because I like the looks of lines. So once I've clicked on this arrow, I go down to all borders, and it gives me my lines. From here, it's pretty easy. I can copy and paste by highlighting all of this. Control C will copy. I'm going to come over here. Control V should paste that right in. Now I am going to come up and make sure these columns are wide enough, so a little bit of double clicking, and it looks good. I'm going to put over here my second condition, which let's say is visual. But again, you do your own lab. At this point, I'm going to type in my numbers. For the sake of time, I've copied and pasted from a different spreadsheet. Let's hope this works in here. There they are. Take a few minutes, type your numbers in. Again, I've copied and pasted from another file. Take some time, type your numbers in. You should get something that looks like this. You might have typed in a number like 20.0, and when you hit enter, you'll notice that 0 goes away. You will also notice some of these numbers go to the tenths of a place. Others, like over here, go to the thousandths place. And we know that that is not the same accuracy. So we are going to highlight all of our numbers and no blanks. You can't highlight all of them. So just highlight the cells with the numbers, and you are going to, I call it titching up and down the zeros. These two buttons either increase the decimal or decrease. I always go one way, it's usually the wrong way, and then I go back. So if I truly have measured to 1/2 centimeter, then I'm going to go to the tenths place. And I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. This time I'll just go down and go back up. You might notice that the computer rounds. So here, 19.7. If I've gone too far and it rounds up to 20, the numbers are not lost. I can go back. And hey, there it is again. So it automatically rounds, which is pretty sweet. So we're almost done with typing in the data. At this point, we have our raw data in, but we are going to find the averages for each participant. You might have done this by hand, but I would say don't type in what you have by hand. Have the computer do it. It's a lot easier. And here I'll show you how. You click on the first cell for your first participant average. You type the equal sign, which is how the computer knows to do math, and then you tell it what kind of math to do. So in this case, it is average. Spell out the whole word. Don't worry about the autofill. You can't click that. So you're telling the computer, hey, do some math. In fact, do the average, and then you open parentheses and you say, what would you like to average? You click in the middle and highlight all 3 trials of the first participant. Then you close the parentheses and hit enter. So just to try it again over here, let's do the same thing. Equals average, open parentheses, highlight your 3, close parentheses, hit enter. Now here's where Excel is amazing. When you click on that first average, you'll see that there's a square on the bottom right. Again, if you hover over that and your cursor changes, if you click and drag, it copies the equation, not the number. So when I drag it down, it automatically knows to find the average from the cells to the left. So I'm going to do the same over here. Hover over the square in the bottom right, click, drag it down, and voila, it's done.